Hey guys, tonight we're stepping back thousands of years into the heart of ancient Egypt. Not to its grand pyramids or legendary pharaohs, but to something far more invisible, yet just as powerful. You walk through the bustling streets of Thebes, warm air thick with the scent of lotus blossoms and burning myrrh. Perfume isn't just an accessory here. It's a science, a status symbol, even a gateway to the divine. The air itself hums with it, carrying whispers of secrets lost to time. And if you think modern fragrance houses have mastered the art of scent, well, you probably won't survive what the Egyptians were doing over 3,000 years ago. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know in the comments where are you listening from, and what time is it there right now. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. A single drop of Kifi, the legendary perfume of Egyptian temples, fills the chamber with its intoxicating fragrance. It's unlike anything you've ever smelled. Sweet, smoky, rich with ancient secrets. The walls of the temple glow dimly in the candlelight, hieroglyphs whispering the formula only a chosen few could craft. You move through the sacred halls, the scent growing stronger with each step. Perfume wasn't merely a luxury. It was considered a divine essence, a gift bestowed by the gods themselves. The people of Egypt wore it, worshipped with it, healed with it. It clung to the air of their temples, their homes, even their tombs. Fragrance wasn't just an indulgence in ancient Egypt. It was spiritual, sacred, and deeply woven into the fabric of daily life. You stand at the threshold of a grand temple, the scent of burning frankincense thick in the air. Priests dressed in immaculate linen robes walk in procession, golden vessels of scented oil glistening in their hands. Every step they take sends waves of perfume cascading into the cavernous halls, a ritual designed to please the gods themselves. Egyptians believed scent was a direct link to divinity. The gods were thought to possess fragrant auras, and temples were filled with incense to bridge the gap between the mortal and the divine. Every morning, priests anointed sacred statues with oils infused with myrrh and cinnamon, an act meant to keep deities present within their sanctuaries. Even in death, fragrance played a pivotal role. Tombs were stocked with perfumes to ensure that the souls of the departed remained pure as they journeyed into the afterlife. Historians still argue whether Egyptians saw scent as purely religious, or if it also held medical and psychological significance. Some suggest fragrance was used to create an immersive spiritual experience, while others believe it had practical calming effects on the mind and body. Tonight, as you breathe deeply, imagine standing in an Egyptian temple, the weight of scent surrounding you, ancient voices chanting in rhythm, and the distant echo of eternity carried through the fragrance of time. Kifi, the perfume of the gods, the fragrance of temples, the scent of mystery. You walk through the vast halls of an Egyptian temple, the air thick with the sweet smoky aroma of Kifi, a perfume unlike any you've ever encountered. It clings to the walls, its presence lingering in sacred spaces for hours, maybe days. Priests stand in ceremony, grinding its ingredients with deliberate care, whispering ancient prayers into the mixture before setting it to burn. Kifi wasn't just a perfume. It was an elixir, incense, and medicine all rolled into one. Historians still debate its precise recipe. Was it a complex mix of wine, honey, myrrh, and cinnamon? Or did its formula vary from temple to temple? Some sources suggest up to 16 ingredients, each carefully measured, fermented, and blended to create an aroma that soothed the mind and purified the soul. But here's where the mystery deepens. Modern scientists attempting to recreate Kifi often find that their mixtures don't smell exactly like ancient descriptions. Was there a lost step? A forgotten fermentation process? Or did Egyptian perfumers possess knowledge we no longer understand? Tonight, as you inhale, imagine Kifi drifting through the corridors, wrapping around pillars, filling the air with its ancient wisdom, a scent designed not just for the senses but for the soul. Perfume wasn't just an indulgence for Egyptian royalty. It was a statement, a symbol of power, wealth, and divine favor. You step into the grand hall of a palace, the air thick with the scent of exotic oils, infused with myrrh, cinnamon, and blue lotus. Servants carefully anoint their rulers with golden vessels of perfume, massaging fragrant mixtures into their skin. The scent is intoxicating, a blend that marks status and influence, a fragrance that tells a story. Egyptian royalty didn't just wear perfume, they bathed in it. Their daily rituals involved soaking in scented oils, ensuring their presence was unforgettable. Perfume cones, solid wax infused with fragrance, were placed atop their heads, melting slowly throughout lavish feasts, releasing a continuous aroma as the night unfolded. Historians still argue whether Egyptian perfumes held deeper medicinal properties. Beyond simple luxury, some believe scent had cooling effects, helping nobility endure Egypt's harsh desert climate. Others suggest fragrance was linked to spiritual purification, ensuring rulers remained connected to divine forces. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine the decadence of Egyptian royalty, the opulence of a perfume-infused world, and the silent messages carried through fragrance: power, seduction, immortality. Egyptians mastered the art of perfume making, yet many of their ancient fragrance formulas remain lost to time. You find yourself inside a dimly lit chamber hieroglyph, covered scrolls spread across a stone table. The faded texts hint at legendary perfume recipes, blends of lotus, cinnamon, myrrh, and exotic spices. But the exact measurements, the fermentation techniques, the secret steps, those are missing. Even now, researchers attempt to decode these forgotten formulas, hoping to unlock the true sense of ancient Egypt. Perfume wasn't just created, it was crafted, refined, perfected over centuries. Certain recipes were reserved only for priests, others exclusive to royalty. Scribes documented every step, but without modern translation, historians still debate what made Egyptian fragrances so uniquely powerful. Did they mix oils differently than we do today? Did they allow their perfumes to mature for longer periods? Historians still argue whether Egyptian perfumes contained unknown ingredients now extinct. Some suggest local flora played a role, while others believe a fermentation process lost in history made their scents more potent than anything modern perfumers can recreate. Tonight, as you breathe in, imagine standing at the edge of discovery, fragments of ancient scent waiting to be unlocked. Egyptians didn't just craft perfumes, they engineered them to last. You step into a royal chamber, the scent of blue lotus and spiced oils still lingering, despite the fact that this room has remained untouched for centuries. The walls tell stories of fragrance rituals, and the small alabaster jars resting on ancient wooden tables hold perfumes that somehow have survived the passing of time. Egyptians were masters of preservation, ensuring that their scents remained potent long after they were first created. They perfected oil-based perfumes, avoiding evaporation common in modern alcohol-based mixtures. Some containers were sealed with beeswax, preventing air exposure and decay. Others were stored underground in cooler environments, much like how modern perfume houses protect their signature creations. Historians still argue whether Egyptian methods were deliberate discoveries or happy accidents. Did they intentionally craft longer-lasting formulas? Or was their success simply a result of natural preservation techniques? Tonight, as you inhale, imagine fragrance frozen in time, waiting to be rediscovered, its scent unchanged, carrying the whispers of an ancient world. Perfume didn't just belong to the living. It was a guide into the afterlife, ensuring that souls smelled divine as they passed into eternity. You step into a tomb, the air thick with the scent of aged oils that have seeped into the walls over centuries. The offerings are still intact, small jars of perfume carefully arranged beside golden amulets, meant to accompany the deceased into the next world. To the Egyptians, fragrance wasn't just earthly luxury. It was spiritual necessity. Priests performed elaborate funerary rituals, anointing bodies with scented resins believed to protect and purify. Tomb inscriptions speak of fragrant journeys, where souls traveled alongside the rich scents of lotus, myrrh, and frankincense, ensuring their passage was free of impurity. Some mummies still hold traces of these perfumes, their formulas locked in time. Historians still argue whether Egyptian burial perfumes were simply ritual offerings or had deeper mystical significance. Were they meant to physically protect the body, or were they a key to unlocking the divine realm? Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine walking through an ancient tomb, fragrance lingering in the dark, guiding spirits toward eternity. Perfume making in ancient Egypt wasn't just a craft. It was early alchemy, an attempt to extract the soul of fragrance from nature. You step into an artisan's workshop, where bronze distillation vessels gleam under flickering torchlight. The air is thick with the aroma of crushed herbs, resins, and floral extracts. Perfume isn't simply blended here. It's transformed, refined through centuries, old techniques that predate modern chemistry. Egyptians understood the art of extraction long before perfume laboratories existed. They pioneered steam distillation, pressing oils from petals and boiling aromatic resins in clay pots. Some historians believe their distillation techniques directly influenced later Arab and European perfumers. Others suggest Egyptian fragrance making was so distinct that modern science still struggles to replicate its precision. Historians still argue whether Egyptians intentionally developed distillation or whether their perfume making evolved naturally from cooking and medicinal practices. Some suggest perfume was an extension of early chemistry, while others believe it remained a deeply spiritual art. Its methods passed down through generations without scientific intent. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine stepping into an ancient perfumer's lab, vessels bubbling, ingredients blending, and the mastery of fragrance shaping history itself. Flowers and resins, the lifeblood of Egyptian perfume, sourced from lands near and far, blended into fragrances fit for the gods and rulers alike. You step into a bustling marketplace, where merchants display bundles of frankincense, sacks of myrrh, and baskets overflowing with blue lotus flowers. The air is thick with mixed aromas, a symphony of scent that tells of Egypt's connection to the world beyond its borders. Egyptians understood botanical power, myrrh for its deep, warm, balsamic notes, blue lotus for its intoxicating sweetness, frankincense for its sacred, purifying smoke. Some ingredients were harvested from the banks of the Nile, while others were imported through ancient trade routes from distant lands, including Somalia and India. Historians still argue whether Egyptians fully understood the chemistry behind their perfume ingredients, or if they simply followed tradition. Some suggest their choices were based on spiritual and medicinal properties, while others believe their selection was purely about creating pleasing scents. Tonight, as you breathe in, imagine walking through an Egyptian marketplace, surrounded by baskets of fragrant treasures, each one holding a story waiting to be unlocked. Perfume wasn't just about beauty or indulgence in ancient Egypt. It was believed to possess healing properties, acting as both medicine and a tool for restoring balance to the body and mind. You step into a healer's chamber, where shelves of fragrant oils, dried flowers, and crushed resins line the walls. A mixture of blue lotus and cinnamon simmers in a clay pot, releasing waves of warm, spicy aroma meant to soothe the senses. Egyptians didn't just wear perfume, they prescribed it, blending ingredients known to aid in relaxation, sleep, and even pain relief. Records suggest that certain scents, like frankincense and myrrh, were used as antiseptics, applied to wounds for their natural healing effects. Others, like lotus oil, were thought to calm anxiety and even induce lucid dreaming. Ancient texts describe physicians carefully selecting fragrance blends, believing that scent could realign one's energy, much like modern aromatherapy. Historians still argue whether Egyptian perfumes had genuine medicinal benefits, or if their use in healing was purely ritualistic. Some suggest fragrance played a psychological role, easing stress and promoting a sense of well-being. Others believe certain ingredients did hold antibacterial properties, making them practical medicine in ancient times. Tonight, as you inhale deeply, imagine stepping into a world where fragrance itself was medicine, where healing wasn't just about the body, but about the soul's connection to scent. Perfume wasn't just a domestic craft in ancient Egypt. It was a thriving industry, fueling trade routes that stretched across continents. You step into a crowded marketplace at the edge of the Nile, where merchants display rare fragrances in delicate alabaster jars. The air is thick with the scent of imported spices, resins, and exotic floral extracts, their origins tracing back to lands far beyond Egypt's borders. Here, perfume isn't just a luxury, it's currency, a commodity as valuable as gold. Egypt controlled key fragrance trade routes, importing materials from India, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Horn of Africa. Caravans brought in frankincense and myrrh from southern trade hubs, while spices and floral oils traveled on boats through the Mediterranean. The demand was relentless. Temples required incense for rituals, nobles stocked up on rare blends, and even common citizens saved to afford small flasks of aromatic oils. Historians still argue whether Egypt's perfume industry was more profitable than its gold trade. Some suggest fragrances were as highly sought after as precious metals, while others believe perfume was secondary to larger agricultural exports, like wheat and papyrus. Tonight as you breathe in, imagine the bustle of Egypt's ancient markets, where scent wasn't just a pleasure, it was a global force shaping trade and history. Perfume wasn't just worn, it was believed to be a mark of divinity, a sign that certain rulers and priests exuded a scent so pure it bordered on the supernatural. You step into a grand temple, the scent of burning incense curling through the air like whispers from the gods themselves. Priests move gracefully through the space, their robes releasing waves of lotus, infused oil with every step. It's said that some of Egypt's most sacred figures carried an unnatural fragrance, as if their presence alone emitted perfume without needing to apply it. One legend speaks of a pharaoh whose skin was rumored to smell like myrrh. Untouched by human hands, his divine essence revealed through scent. Another tale describes priests so immersed in sacred rituals that their bodies absorbed fragrances, leaving them permanently perfumed. Was this truth or clever mythology meant to elevate rulers beyond mortals? Historians still argue whether Egyptians genuinely believed their gods and rulers emitted divine fragrance, or if it was simply the result of extensive perfume rituals. Some suggest the natural absorption of oils over time created the illusion, while others believe scent was used strategically to reinforce power and mysticism. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine the presence of a fragrance so rich, so ethereal that it becomes legend, carried through time, floating beyond history itself. Perfume wasn't just about scent. It shaped fashion, status, and self-expression in ways beyond the obvious. You step into a palace chamber where servants carefully unwrap linen garments, infused with perfumed oils. The scent lingers in the fabric, released with every movement. Across the kingdom, nobles walk through bustling streets, wearing intricate gold amulets filled with fragrant resins. Perfume wasn't simply worn. It was woven into daily life, an accessory as essential as jewelry or fine robes. Egyptians believed fragrance defined identity. Certain scents became social markers, identifying class, profession, even moods. Some historians suggest that noble women carried small perfume bottles embedded in their clothing, allowing them to refresh their scent throughout the day. Others believe perfume was used in ceremonial attire, ensuring that high-ranking officials smelled as regal as they appeared. Historians still argue whether Egyptians followed specific fragrance trends or if scents were purely personal choices. Some evidence suggests perfumes were categorized by social status, while others believe individual preference played a larger role. Tonight, as you settle in, imagine how fragrance shaped ancient fashion. Not just an accent, but a signature, a statement carved in aroma. Perfume wasn't just worn, it was woven into Egyptian religious rituals, an invisible thread connecting worshippers to the divine. You step into a grand temple, the stone floor cool beneath your feet, the towering statues of gods watching in silent reverence. A priest approaches an altar, lifting a carved vessel filled with scented oil, the golden liquid shimmering under the dim glow of flickering torches. Slowly, deliberately, he pours the perfume onto sacred relics, anointing them as whispers of ancient prayers rise into the air. Egyptians believed that fragrance was essential to their connection with the gods. Incense burned in temples, its smoke curling toward the heavens, carrying human devotion on unseen currents. The high priests of Amun were known to undergo ritual purification, their bodies cleansed in perfumed water before stepping into sacred ceremonies. Even the statues of deities were treated as living beings, dressed, fed, and anointed daily with richly scented oils. Historians still argue whether Egyptian fragrance rituals were purely symbolic or if they had tangible effects on worshippers' emotions. Some suggest that scent created a heightened spiritual experience, while others believe the rituals were simply a way to maintain tradition. Tonight, as you breathe deeply, imagine standing in an Egyptian temple, surrounded by the fragrance of devotion, the air thick with the scent of the gods themselves. Perfume wasn't just reserved for celebrations. It held a profound place in Egyptian funerary rites, bridging the worlds of the living and the dead. You stand in a dimly lit burial chamber, its walls adorned with painted scenes of the deceased's journey into the afterlife. The air is thick with the scent of myrrh, frankincense, and sacred oils, their presence meant to purify and guide souls beyond the veil. Priests move in solemn ritual, anointing the body with fragrant mixtures, ensuring that the departed carries the essence of life into eternity. Egyptians believed that scent held protective powers, safeguarding the dead from malevolent forces. Perfumed resins were applied during mummification, sealing the body in an aromatic cocoon. Tombs were stocked with jars of kaifi, meant to provide comfort and refreshment for spirits traveling into the afterlife. Historians still argue whether Egyptians viewed perfume as a practical tool for preservation or a purely spiritual offering. Some suggest that scented oils prevented decay, while others believe fragrance was simply a ceremonial necessity, used to ensure a dignified passage into eternity. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine stepping into an ancient tomb, where scent lingers in the stillness, an invisible thread tying the past to the present, whispering of souls long departed but never forgotten. Perfume wasn't just something Egyptians wore, it was something they protected, crafting stunning vessels that preserved fragrance for generations. You step into a grand artisan's workshop, where shelves lined with alabaster glass and ceramic perfume bottles gleam under torchlight. Each container isn't just storage, it's art, carefully designed to shield precious oils from time, air, and decay. The smooth curves of the vessels, the sealed lids, the intricate carvings, they all serve a purpose beyond beauty. Egyptians understood that perfume needed protection. Oils stored in stone and opaque glass bottles lasted longer, shielded from sunlight. Small, portable containers allowed travelers to carry fragrance across vast distances. Some perfume bottles were even shaped like animals or gods, merging function with mythology. Historians still argue whether Egyptians deliberately developed advanced perfume preservation techniques or if their materials simply happened to work better than modern synthetic containers. Some suggest sealed alabaster flasks were engineered for longevity, while others believe the use of natural materials merely resulted in better perfume retention. Tonight, as you inhale deeply, imagine running your fingers over a centuries-old perfume bottle, its delicate carvings whispering of forgotten fragrances, still waiting to be uncorked. Perfume in ancient Egypt wasn't just about personal scent. It was a tool of seduction and influence, woven into the art of attraction and the politics of power. You step into a lavish banquet hall, golden torches flickering against the high stone walls. The air is thick with lotus and cinnamon-infused oils, their fragrances floating between whispered conversations and stolen glances. Nobles wear perfume like armor, each carefully chosen scent meant to captivate, persuade, and assert dominance. Egyptians understood the psychology of fragrance. Certain perfumes were believed to enhance desire, while others subtly reinforced authority. Some historians suggest that royalty intentionally crafted signature scents, ensuring they remained unforgettable to allies and rivals alike. Others believe perfume was simply a natural extension of beauty and charisma, its effects unintentional but undeniably powerful. Historians still argue whether Egyptian perfume was deliberately used as a political tool or purely for indulgence. Some suggest fragrance played a role in diplomacy and royal alliances, while others believe perfume was simply an accessory of status and attraction. Tonight, as you breathe deeply, imagine the intoxicating dance of scent and influence, where fragrance wasn't just worn, it shaped power, desire, and the stories of history itself. Perfume making in ancient Egypt wasn't just an art. It was a craft perfected by master perfumers, specialists whose secrets shaped history but whose names often faded into time. You step into a hidden workshop, where fragrant oils simmer in clay vessels, their scents rising into the air in rich waves. Wooden shelves are lined with bundles of rare spices, crushed resins, and delicate petals, each ingredient carefully selected and weighed. The perfumer moves with practiced precision, blending the elements together, tasting the mixture like a fine wine, ensuring its balance is perfect. Egyptian perfumers were guardians of fragrance secrets, passing knowledge through families or religious circles. Some historians believe their formulas were closely guarded, known only to temple priests or royal artisans. Others suggest perfumers worked in private industries, selling their creations to noble buyers and expanding the perfume trade. Historians still argue whether Egyptian perfumers were recognized as true artisans or merely merchants. Some suggest their work was seen as scientific, even mystical, while others believe they were simple craftsmen, producing scents for commerce rather than legend. Tonight, as you breathe deeply, imagine stepping into an ancient perfumer's sanctuary, where every drop of fragrance holds history, tradition, and the whisper of mastery lost to time. Cleopatra, the name alone evokes images of power, seduction, and legendary perfume rituals that may have shaped history itself. You step into the queen's private chamber, where golden vessels of scented oils shimmer under dim torchlight. Servants work meticulously, blending exotic ingredients, blue lotus, cinnamon, frankincense, into a mixture designed not just for beauty, but for influence. Cleopatra didn't just wear perfume, she weaponized it, crafting aromatic signatures that could entrance, persuade, and even intimidate. Her perfume arsenal was said to be unparalleled. Some accounts suggest she bathed in saffron-infused waters, while others describe her room saturated with fragrances that left guests mesmerized. One particularly famous tale speaks of Cleopatra coating her ship's sails in perfume, ensuring the scent of her arrival preceded her presence. Historians still argue whether Cleopatra's perfume practices were exaggerated by later writers or truly as potent as legend suggests. Some believe the stories were careful propaganda, while others suggest she possessed an advanced understanding of fragrance psychology. Tonight, as you close your eyes, imagine the irresistible pull of Cleopatra's scented world, where fragrance wasn't just indulgence, it was strategy, history, and power wrapped in aroma. Ancient Egyptian perfumes aren't just relics of the past. Scientists and perfumers today are on a mission to recreate these lost fragrances, unlocking scents that haven't been smelled in thousands of years. You step into a modern laboratory, where rows of glass vials and aged artifacts line the shelves. Researchers hover over an ancient perfume bottle, carefully extracting microscopic traces of its original ingredients. The air is filled with the scent of honeyed resins, floral oils, and the ghost of Kifi, a fragrance long thought to be lost, now swirling back into existence. Archaeologists have discovered perfume remnants in tombs, temples, and sealed containers, leading to careful reconstructions based on ancient formulas. Some perfumers use historical texts to replicate Egyptian blends, while others attempt to reverse engineer scent molecules still clinging to artifacts. Historians still argue whether modern recreations truly capture the essence of Egyptian perfume or if time has permanently altered its original character. Some suggest scent ages differently than expected, while others believe lost techniques hold the key to reviving authentic ancient fragrances. Tonight, as you inhale deeply, imagine discovering an aroma frozen in time, a perfume worn by queens, priests, and warriors waiting to be reborn. Egypt's mastery of fragrance didn't just shape its own culture. It influenced the perfume traditions of Greece and Rome, leaving an aromatic imprint on history. You step into an ancient Mediterranean marketplace, where Egyptian perfume merchants display alabaster jars filled with scented oils. The air hums with the mingling aromas of lotus, myrrh, and cinnamon, their origins tracing back to the Nile. Greek aristocrats and Roman nobles eagerly purchase Egyptian blends, believing them to be superior to local perfumes, their longevity and richness unmatched. Egyptian perfumes traveled through trade routes, diplomatic exchanges, and even military conquests, influencing the fragrance rituals of the Western world. Some historians suggest that Greek and Roman perfumers adapted Egyptian techniques, learning to infuse oils with deeper complexity. Others believe Egyptian perfumes remained distinct, their unique formulas never truly replicated outside their homeland. Historians still argue whether Egyptian perfume was the foundation of Western fragrance traditions or simply a luxury import. Some suggest Egypt's influence shaped perfume making in Europe, while others believe Greek and Roman fragrance industries evolved independently. Tonight, as you inhale, imagine the scent of an empire, carried across continents, woven into the tapestries of history, its fragrance lingering long after its makers faded into time. Modern perfumes may be luxurious, but do they truly capture the essence of ancient Egyptian fragrance? You step into a contemporary perfumery, shelves lined with elegant bottles, each promising a scent that evokes the mysteries of Egypt. Some are infused with notes of lotus, myrrh, and warm spices, while others claim to resurrect Cleopatra's legendary perfumes. But are these modern recreations authentic? Or have we lost the magic of Egypt's original formulas? Egyptian perfumes were oil-based, their richness designed for longevity and intensity. Today's commercial fragrances rely on alcohol mixtures, evaporating faster, losing the deep, lingering essence the Egyptians perfected. Some historians suggest modern perfumes are distant echoes, capturing fragments but never the full spectrum of ancient aromas. Others argue that advances in chemistry have allowed perfumers to replicate scents more accurately than ever before. Historians still argue whether Egyptian fragrance was more powerful than today's perfumes. Some believe the lost fermentation techniques held secrets modern science hasn't yet rediscovered, while others suggest Egyptian scents were legendary simply because of their cultural significance. Tonight, as you inhale, imagine standing at the crossroads of past and present, where fragrance attempts to bridge time, seeking but perhaps never truly grasping the perfumes of history. Egyptians understood fragrance in ways beyond simple pleasure. But did they truly practice aromatherapy as we know it today? You step into a healer's chamber, where bundles of dried herbs and vials of scented oils line the shelves. A priest carefully pours lotus-infused oil into a clay burner, allowing the floral aroma to rise in waves, filling the space with a calming presence. Egyptians believed that certain scents held power, not just in rituals but in mental and emotional well-being. Some historical texts hint that perfume was used to alleviate stress, induce relaxation, and even boost energy. Kaifi, the famous temple perfume, was said to calm the mind before sleep, its complex formula carefully crafted to promote restfulness. Certain oils were applied to the skin or burned in homes, possibly creating an ancient form of aromatherapy without the modern label. Historians still argue whether Egyptians understood the psychological effects of scent or if their fragrance rituals were purely mystical. Some suggest that their use of calming aromas in temples and daily life reflected an early awareness of mental health, while others believe that scent was strictly symbolic, with no deliberate therapeutic intent. Tonight, as you breathe deeply, imagine a world where fragrance wasn't just worn, it shaped mood, soothed worries, and whispered of ancient wisdom. Perfume in ancient Egypt wasn't just an art, it was a ritual, a practice deeply tied to traditions, still waiting to be uncovered. You walk through the corridors of a forgotten temple, where faint traces of incense cling to the air, remnants of a fragrance ritual lost to time. The walls whisper of forgotten ceremonies, fragrances designed for purification, transformation, even divine communion. Some tombs have yielded sealed jars of mysterious oils, their ingredients still unknown, their purpose still debated. Egyptians perfected the art of fragrance, but what rituals remain undiscovered? Some historians suggest there are untranslated perfume texts buried in archives, detailing blending methods lost to time. Others believe some tombs hold fragrance formulas never opened, their scents waiting to be released. What secrets lie beneath the sands? What rituals shaped Egyptian scent traditions beyond what history has recorded? Historians still argue whether more fragrance rituals remain hidden, or if archaeology has uncovered Egypt's full perfumed legacy. Some believe scent traditions were more complex than we realize, while others suggest the core techniques we know today reflect most of Egypt's fragrance expertise. Tonight, as you inhale deeply, imagine stepping into a chamber untouched for millennia, where fragrances wait, silent, preserved, whispering stories of scent yet to be revealed. Perfume fades, but its stories linger. You stand at the threshold of an ancient temple, the last wisps of burned kifi curling through the air. The scent is fleeting now, dissolving into history, slipping beyond time, yet its impact remains, woven into rituals, locked in tombs, whispered in fragments of forgotten texts. Perfume in Egypt wasn't just fragrance. It was science, art, power, devotion, and mystery. Historians still search for lost formulas, still debate whether modern perfume holds the same magic. Were Egyptian scents truly more profound, or does their mystery make them legendary? Some say fragrance is memory in its purest form, a connection to eras gone by, to moments that might otherwise be lost. Tonight, as you inhale deeply, imagine standing in an ancient chamber where fragrance transcends time, where scents speak, where history breathes in perfume's delicate, invisible language. Now as you rest, let your mind drift into history. Close your eyes and let the scent of Egypt surround you. floral whispers from temple corridors, smoky resins lingering in palace halls, perfumed oils soaking into linen robes. Imagine walking through Thebes, past merchants displaying golden jars of fragrance, past priests anointing statues with scented offerings. Let these ancient scents soothe you, quiet your thoughts, guide you gently toward sleep. Time is silent, but perfume speaks. Sweet dream,